My name is Michelle, and I'm an education solutions trainer here at ViewSonic. And previously, I was an English teacher in Taiwan. For today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to use our myViewBoard classroom. And it's a software that you don't have to install. You can use it directly inside of your browser. So if you go into your myviewboard.com account, if you have a premium or an entity account, you'll be able to see this classroom tile. And then you can just click on it and it will take you to this page, which is the classroom software. And for today, I'll be showing you a classroom overview, and then I will do a demo class. And then finally, I'll show you the different tools that you can use to create a similar lesson. So if you are using it for remote learning, then we recommend this kind of setup where you have two screens. The first screen would be used for to see the dashboard, and that's where you can see the student view and you can be able to do classroom management from there. And then the second screen is where you'll be able to see your whiteboard and see the different slides. So this is a setup that we would recommend if you're doing remote learning. And if you want to do it for remote collaboration, then we would recommend this setup right here. And for this one, again, it would be two screens. The first screen would be your interactive flat panel, like a view board in the front of the classroom. And then the second screen is where you can see your students and be able to manage the class. And this is for remote collaboration. For example, if you have students in the classroom and you also have students at home, then you can use this setup to use our myViewBoard classroom. And now for the different parts of classroom. Over here, on the bottom right here, you'll see two circles. If you click on that, that is the screen record option. That allows you to record the lesson. So maybe you have students at home, if they're sick or something, then you can record the lesson and you can send the video to them afterwards. And that would be the screen record option. Over here, where it says teacher, that is the huddle overview. If you click on that, you'll see the teacher view, and then you'll also see the huddle views from here. And the huddles are basically the group activities. So the teacher has their own whiteboard, and then the little huddles, the little groups, also have their own whiteboard. Over here where you see the 3-12, that is the page management. So if you click on that, you can actually manage the pages from here. So you can delete a page, you can move pages around, you can duplicate a page, all from here. And if you want to add a new page, you can just click the plus button right here. And as you can see over here where you see my face, this is the part where you can share your camera or audio. So it's right here. Right now I'm only sharing my camera feed, and I decided not to share the microphone because I'm using the microphone in the webinar. That way you won't get that echo. And then over here on the bottom right-hand corner, normally when you first open up Classroom, you'll see this pop-up that allows you to go to the dashboard, or you can click over here on the bottom right here. It allows you to open the dashboard. And this is the dashboard. And I'll go into more detail about this dashboard once I start adding some students in. So the other thing that I like to do when I'm preparing my lesson is I'll create a pretend student so that I can actually see what the student will be seeing when I'm preparing my lesson. So to be able to allow students to join your session, you're going to go up here to the top right-hand corner. It says public session and it has a QR code right there. So you click on it and this will allow students to join your session. So let me just click on this link to do a pretend student just to show you what that is. And then you're going to open another tab. and then paste the link. So when your students first sign into your session, this is what they're going to see. They're going to write their name here and then click sign in. And this is the student view of what they'll see. So they'll see your whiteboard. They can see what page number you're on. They'll be able to annotate if you allow them to annotate with this toolbar right here. They can also raise their hand. They can chat in the public chat or the huddle chat with the other students. And then this is the teacher video feed that they'll see. So this is the student view. And now I'm going to open up the session so that you'll also be able to see this too. So I'm going to go back into that public session with the QR code. And now over here for the QR code, if a student has a tablet, they can sign in using this. They can scan this QR code and sign in using their tablet. And then the other option is you can copy this link. So once you click on it, it'll copy the link, and then you can paste it to your students so that they can join your classroom session. So I'm going to copy and paste this to the webinar chat so that you can join my classroom session and see what it's like to be a student. So remember, just click on that link, go into it, write your name, and then join the session. For the classroom, for the students, we don't recommend that they use a phone because it's not as optimal. So we recommend either using a tablet or a phone, or a tablet, computer, or laptop to join the session. Oh, let me copy and paste it again. Oh, okay. I think I put it on host and panelist. Now let me try that for everyone. Okay, now it should work. So just click on the link, and then you'll be able to join the session. Okay. And so this is the dashboard. This is where you'll be able to see the students when they start joining the session. And over here, it shows the engagement on the right-hand corner over here. So if you highlight over each of these, it'll tell you what they do. So if a student is in red, it means that they haven't had any action detected for 5 minutes. They haven't been on tab. Yellow means that they're not on tab. And then green means that they are on tab and currently watching the lesson. So you'll see the student engagement over here on the right-hand side. Over here on the left, you'll be able to see if any students have any internet connection issues. It'll show up over here with their name. And over here, as you can see, I had my pretend student raise their hand. You can also, if you click on this option over here, it will make the student's hand go down for all the hands. And you can also toggle speaking privileges for the class. So you can have all the students be able to talk. And this will allow editing privileges for the class. So all the students can be able to edit if you click on here. You can also do the speaking editing privileges for individual students, or you can do it for entire huddle groups. And then over here is where the public chat and the huddle chat are from the right-hand corner. So you can also enable or disable the chats using this. And now I'm gonna make it into 2 huddle groups. So you can create huddle groups over here. It'll be in increments of 5, or you can just directly click on this and you can change it into 2 huddles. And then when you click on this, it will create the huddles. So as you can see, there's 2 huddles. And if you click on it again, it will shuffle the huddles. So it'll randomly shuffle the students into the huddles. You can also move individual students if you want into the huddles that you want them to go into. So like that, you can move the students into different huddles directly. And this is the dashboard. Okay, and now we'll start off with an activity where I'm going to allow you to edit the teacher canvas directly. So for this activity, it's sort of a warm-up. You can ask students to create a sticky note. So they're going to go into the sticky note option, and then they're going to write their name, click off, and then resize it to make it smaller so you don't cover up the other students. And then they're going to move the sticky note to how they're feeling today. Are they feeling good, okay, or bad? So just move your sticky note to the correct place. And for this activity, in order to allow students to edit the teacher canvas, the first thing that you're going to want to do is go into the settings and turn on real-time collaboration. So it's over here for settings. And then there's an option right here to turn on real-time collaboration. You're going to want to click on that. And what this does is it allows students to move things around the canvas and it'll show their name on it. So you want to definitely turn that on so that students can be able to edit things on the canvas. And then you're going to want to go into your dashboard and then allow editing privileges for the whole class. So now I'm going to go into my dashboard and then I'm going to click over here to toggle editing privileges for the class. And that means that now the students, you guys will be able to edit my teacher canvas directly. So remember in the beginning, it's going to go into the pen mode. So you don't want to do that. You want to go into the 5th option, which is the sticky note. And then write your name. Resize it to make it smaller, and then move it to how you're feeling today. And this is the option where you can allow students to edit the teacher canvas directly, as you can see. And you can also see that you can see the name above it as the students are editing the canvas. And that is when you turn on the real-time collaboration that allows you to see that. Okay, that's awesome. It looks like most of you guys are feeling good today. So it's good to hear. Nice. Okay, and now when I go to the next slide, it will automatically turn off the editing privileges. So as you can see, it automatically turns it off when I go to the next slide. And then I'll go into the lesson about the different parts of the body. So to start off the lesson, I'm going to do some video assisted learning using this video to teach about the different body parts. And right now, when you click on it, you won't be able to play the video. So what you have to do is you have to go over here on the left-hand corner right here. It'll allow you to toggle into present mode. And then when you do that, then you can actually play the video like so.
Shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and
So as you can see, now you can play the video and then go over the different body parts with your students. And once they finish the video and they learn about the different body parts, then now they can do a labeling activity. So for this activity, I want students to go into the select mode, and then they can select the different body part and put it to the correct place. For example, this is where the head is. So you can move that label to the correct picture. And for this activity, I'm going to make it that all the huddles have the same activity. So as you can see right now in the huddle overview, this is the teacher view, and then this is the huddle views. So they don't have anything inside of them yet for the huddles. So to be able to put this slide into each huddle, what you're going to do is this is a little cheat sheet right here to show you the steps. So the first thing that you're going to do is to go into the page management right here. And then you're going to click on this arrow to copy the pages to the huddles. And you're going to want to copy it to all the huddles and click done. And now when you go into the huddle overview, you'll see that the teacher slide has been copied into the huddle slides. And then next you're going to go into the dashboard, and then you're going to switch from the teacher view into the huddle view. So let me show you that. So I'm going to go into the dashboard, and then I'm going to click over here to switch into the huddle canvas. And it's sort of like a breakout discussion. So then the students will be able to do the huddle activity inside of their groups. I'm going to do 1 minute, and then I'll click OK. And now you'll be able to go inside of your huddle, and then you can click select. Remember to click select, the select tool right here. And then now you can select the labels and put them in the correct place in your huddle. And over here in the dashboard, you can also go into your huddles. The teacher can go into an individual huddle, and they can actually join the discussion, and then they can leave it and go into other huddles. So it's sort of like how a teacher can walk around the classroom and then they can talk to each huddle individually. That is directly from the dashboard. You can do that. And if you click over here in the huddle overview, you can see what the students were able to do. And you can go into the huddle itself. So I can go into huddle 2, and I can see what students were able to write over here. So for example, shoulders is correct, toes, ears, eyes, nose, head. So good job. You guys are able to get 6 out of 8. And you probably would have gotten more if I gave you more time. So normally with your students, you'll give them more time than 1 minute. But for demo purposes, I just wanted to do a quick little demo.
And Michelle, I don't mean to interrupt you, but can we just look at huddle 1?
Sure.
It seems like people were struggling with huddle 1 and solving this. I just want to give people, because this is more, I want to make sure that, because Mary struggled in the other activity with not being able to type. So I just want them to have an experience where they can figure out how to do this. So if you guys have questions, please, I see Mary has a question. Please feel free to use the chat, or I can unmute you if you tell me.
I'm going to allow Mary to speak.
Great, thank you.
Oh, it doesn't give me the option. I guess you might have to do it on your side then.
Let's see, how to talk. Hi, Mary.
Hi, so I grabbed the select tool on the bottom, but when I went to do shoulders, it just drew that line. Like it didn't actually move the word shoulders over, which I thought it was supposed to do.
Okay, we can try that again. Let me go into the, I'll to the huddle canvas again, and you can try it again. So remember to go into the select tool, and then now you should be able to select it. The other thing is, if a student is clicking on one of the items, if another student tries to click on it, it might not let them. So that might be why, perhaps.
Okay, I got it.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. So then you can also just switch back into the teacher canvas if you want to end that huddle activity early. Oh, the reason why there might be feedback is because previously when we went into the huddle session, it toggled the speaking privileges for the entire class, including the teacher. And then that might be why you got that echo, possibly.
So typically when you're using Classroom, you wouldn't also be having so remember, you can be using Classroom as a whole class instruction if we have a one-to-one environment, or if we're doing this with remote learning, we wouldn't also be when using Classroom, we wouldn't be using a video platform, a video conferencing platform like Zoom or Teams or Google Classroom. Or I'm sorry, or Google Meet, just to be clear.
Yes, exactly. And that's why there was that echo probably. So normally you would just use one, directly from here. Okay, and for this activity, it's going to be labeling how many different body parts. So it's a counting activity for your students. So you'll have the little monster here, and then they'll count how many different body parts they see. So for example, for the cookie monster, I see that it has 2 eyes. I don't see any ears. I see 1 mouth, and I don't see a nose. So for this activity, I'm going to be doing different monsters in each huddle. So it's a different activity inside of each huddle. And for that, I'm going to select the image of the monster that I want. And I'm going to go over here to copy it. And then I'll go into the huddle overview and then go into the huddle that I want. So I'll go put this monster in the huddle 1. And over here on the right-hand corner, there is a paste option right here. Right here. So if I click on it, it'll paste that image. And then now I can choose the set as background. And that will make the image as the background. And now I can go back into the teacher view and then click another monster and do the same. And the other thing you can do is you can use your keyboard. So Control-C would be copy. And then go into the huddle overview to huddle 2, and Control-V will paste. And then I'll do the same thing and set it as the background. So this is the option if you want to have different monsters or different activities inside of each huddle. And now I'm going to do the same thing as last time. I'm going to go into the dashboard and switch into the huddle view so that the students will be able to do the activity. Going into my dashboard and then clicking over here to switch to the huddle canvas. And again, I'll give 1 minute. Okay. And then I turn off the speaking privileges so that you don't get that echo. And now in your huddle view, you can go into the pen tool and then write the correct answers. And in the teacher view, you can go back into that huddle overview and you can see what the students are writing. So let's go into huddle 1, and then I can see what the students wrote. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, and no nose. And as you can see, when you go into that huddle, it will actually turn on the speaking privileges for the huddle so that the teacher can directly talk to the students in that huddle. Okay. Okay. And then now I'm going to go back into that teacher view. And then we'll go on to the next activity. So for this activity, I'm going to allow you guys to do individual huddles. So for this one, I'm going to go back into the dashboard. And then instead of having just 2 huddles, I'm going to make it that each student will be able to have their own little whiteboard canvas. So I'll make it to 5 huddles. And then if I click it the second time, it'll shuffle the students into each huddle. So now each person will have their own little whiteboard, basically, and they'll be able to write on it. So now for this activity, it is a 3D image from our Sketchfab. And for this, again, if you click on it, you won't be able to move it around. So you have to go into the present mode. So again, on the left-hand bottom, if you click on it, now students will be able to move this around. So I'm going to go into the student view to show you what that's like. So now in your student view, you won't be able to annotate, but you will be able to move this around right now. So you can test that out in your student view. You can move this monster around. And if you don't see this image, what you can do is you can refresh and then sign in again, and you'll be able to see the image then. So now you can move it around, and my question for you is, how many eyes does the monster have? So you can move that 3D image around to be able to see what the answer is.
You just need to give the students the pen, the ability to use the pen.
Oh, I know. I was gonna let them use the 3D image first, because later on when I do the pen tool, it's going to make it on the blank slate one.
Okay, great.
Okay. Now that you've seen the 3D image, now I'm going to switch it into the huddle canvas. And I'll give you 1 minute, and I just want you to write down the number. So it's going to be a blank whiteboard canvas. And then now you can write down the number of eyes that you saw in that 3D image. And if I go back into my teacher view, I can go into that huddle canvas and I can see what answers people wrote down. So I have 2, 2, 4, 2. Okay. Now that everyone wrote down their answer, I'm just going to switch back into that teacher view. And now let me show you as a class to show you how many different eyes the monster had. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you answered 4, you are correct. The monster had 4 eyes. And that's a fun activity that you can do with your students using the Sketchfab.
That was so sneaky.
Yes. why it's fun for the 3D image, because you can move it around and you have to like look at it from different angles to be able to know that there's 4 eyes. So that was definitely a trick question.
Yeah, so Mary had a great question. She wanted to know, how did you originally create this file?
Oh, I did it directly inside of Classroom, and you can type in text using here. You can put the little shapes that I did for the squares from here. And then images I found using the magic box. So you can just do an image search for the different monsters. And then for this activity, it was from a PDF worksheet.
Great.
So right here for the different body parts, I just imported the PDF directly from the magic box.
So Mary asked that question, but earlier today, Bridget, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Bridget had a question about importing some old flip chart files into Classroom, and I let her know that you couldn't do that, but you could do it on our whiteboard for Windows. However, if you had a Google Slides presentation, you could have imported that as well. So PDF, Google Docs, Google Slides, all can be imported to build a lesson around, or you can build it from scratch, or using, I know Mary had a question about myViewBoard Originals, so we could build it just from myViewBoard Originals and things like that. Oh, great. Thank you for showing a myViewBoard Original.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, yes, exactly what Barry said. You can use many different ways to build a lesson. Inside of Magic Box, you can import PDFs, PPTs, and different things from your local hard drive or your any cloud drive that you've bound, like a Google Drive. And then this is from myViewBoard Originals, so you can also use that. So from here where it says change background in the tools, and if you click on Originals, there's a variety of different myViewBoard original backgrounds that you can use to build your lesson. And you can even choose based off of the subject. So that is one of the options that you can do. So many different ways. Okay, and now I'll go into the different tools. So like I mentioned before, for the backgrounds, you can use original content. You can import images, Google Drive content, and also you can change the color. So I've also used that. You can apply to all the pages or just apply to this page. And then for the magic box, if you click on that, you can import content from your PC, from your cloud drives. You can also put in images. And then previously for the YouTube video, I put it from here to put it onto the canvas. And then for that 3D image, I use the Sketchfab option right here. And that option will allow you to Google search for different images that you can add. And it'll be the 3D image feature that you saw. And then inside of the file manager right here, you can open a file from here, create a new file, and then if you want to save the file, then you would click on the export to .qb option, and then it'll allow you to save to your local hard drive or your cloud drive if you do the export to .qb option. And if you want the full features of Classroom, then I highly recommend that your school sign up for an entity account if they haven't already. And your IT admin can email Barry if they would like to do that. And if for other classroom resources, we also have a wiki page and a myViewBoard blog. So if you scan the QR code, you'll be able to directly access that from here. And the last thing is, remember, when you want to finish the session, you should go into your profile right here and then click on the end session option. Because if you don't, the students, even if you leave the session, the students will be able to stay in the session afterwards for about 30 minutes. So you want to make sure that you end the session. And before I end the session, I just want to see if anybody has any more questions while you guys are still a student, so you can practice anything that you need to.
Yeah, so we had two questions come up. So Mary had a teacher the other day that didn't have the cloud drive option. So Mary, I can send you a video link of how to go about setting that up. Oftentimes it's automatic when they sign in using their Google email for school, but sometimes depending, maybe they signed up in advance or they didn't sign in using their Google account, that wouldn't be there. But I'll send you a video of how to do that. And then the last, Bridget asked their question, is there additional charge for the entity account? No, so you can actually enroll your IT admin would need to enroll the school or the district as an entity. But there is no charge for that. That's a great question. Thank you.
And then for the option to bind the cloud drive, should I just show the follow me session real quick? The follow me settings?
Oh yeah, you want to do that? You have time? Okay, perfect.
Okay. So when you go into your myViewBoard.com account, over here where you see that person with their hands out, the little icon over here on the top, that's the follow me settings. And if you click on it, these are settings that will follow you around wherever you go inside of your whiteboard and your classroom sessions. So if you want to bound your cloud drives, you would go over here to the cloud integration. And then you can bound your cloud drives over here. So for example, if you want to bound your Google Drive, your OneDrive, Google Classroom, and your Dropbox, you would just click on the bind option and then sign into your account. And then if you see the correct email, then that means that you were able to bound your cloud drive. And that is directly in your follow me settings. So over here, you can also change the theme. You can choose the auto sign out time. You can choose the font settings and pen settings. And once you click confirm, these settings will actually follow you around. So it's a really useful feature. And that is in your follow me settings. Okay, are there any other questions?
Mary just asked, maybe I have to do that for him and then he will see it, or he can do it himself as well. He should be, I will send those videos so you can just share that with him. It's pretty easy to do, so.
And then for the ones where he wasn't able to see it in the magic box, was it in the whiteboard session or in a classroom session? Because if it was in whiteboard itself, the other thing is over here on the upper right hand corner, there is 9 little boxes. And sometimes you can enable or disable the cloud drives. So for example, if the Google Drive is not highlighted, then that means that it's not enabled. So if you click on it, it will actually enable the cloud drive. So that might be another feature in case they've already bound the cloud drives and they still don't see it. That might be the reason.
Great, thank you. And one last thing, Mary asked about the recordings of all of the sessions. Once you've been signed up for one session, then at the very end of the 10 episodes, so I've probably around October 1st, you'll get another email from us that has all the recordings from all 10 sessions. So you can rewatch those, share them with your team, or do, whatever, or share them with a colleague from another district. So I hope that helps. Okay. All right, this was a little bit longer than our other sessions. This was great, Michelle. I'm so glad we had time to play around with Classroom. It's such a great new tool. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, no problem. And then let me show you the last thing, just the end session part, so that you'll see what that looks like. So as you can see, the students will see this end session option, and then they'll know that they'll be dismissed for the class. And the last thing is for the teacher view, this classroom survey will pop up. So if you would like to give any feedback after you use Classroom, this would be a really great place to do it. And that way, if they have any suggestions or anything to change up, you can do here on the feedback survey. So that is our myViewBoard Classroom. Thank you for joining the session today, and hope to see you next time. Yes, the survey pops up after every class once you end it. And you can also access the survey directly inside of Classroom. I think in the settings option, you can also access it. No problem.
Thanks again,
Thank you.
everyone, for attending. Thanks, Michelle. This was awesome.
Thank you, Barry.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.